Before this video starts, I just want to say thank you for watching, and also less than 1% of you guys are actually subscribed that watch my videos. I know I post mostly shorts, but please do me a favor, drop a sub. It really means a lot to me. So let's get into this video. What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing the Carolina Panther rebuild with their brand new rookies. So I'm gonna go over the team a little bit, show you what I have planned out for the team, and then we're gonna go from there. So basically, I gave Bryce Young superstar because he's the #1 pick in the draft. I gave Jonathan Mingo star because he's the 2nd round pick in their draft, and a high upside guy in Jamie Robinson. I gave him star dev just to see what he can do. I also have him playing in a couple different roles on the team. I'll show that a little bit later. But this is the biggest thing that I want to go over. This offensive line the Carolina Panthers have. As a Panther fan myself, I love to see it. A good offensive line. But I think it'll be very good here in Madden. The receivers, it's more receiver by committee, but I feel like, you know, we can grow Jonathan Mingo. Adam Thielen's there to mentor. In real life, you know, Madden doesn't really account for mentorship. They try to, but they don't do a very good job, at least not yet. And then on defense, we have a very, very solid defense with Brian Burns on the D-line and Derek Brown. They eat up a lot of blocks. And then you have J.C. Horn, Dante Jackson, and C.J. Henderson. I think J.C. Horn is an underrated cornerback. He's injury prone, sadly, but hopefully he can stay healthy this year. I know he's injured right now in OTAs, but he should be back by the beginning of the season. And then we got Von Bell and Xavier Woods at safety. Those are two very good safety options, and we also have a young guy that can be mentored by them. And then we have our linebacking core with Frankie Louvu and Shaq Thompson. We didn't really have a middle linebacker. We had Brandon Smith going to be playing that spot, and we had 4 safeties, which we don't really need. So I put Jeremy Chin there because in real life he plays a lot of the box, and I think here he'd be really good. I've had him play it in Madden before, just messing around, so I decided to make a video. And then obviously we have Eddie Pinheiro and Johnny Hecker as our punter and kicker, and then these don't really matter, but our specialist is where it kind of gets iffy. You can call me an idiot if you want. I'm not really worried. I have Von Bell at slot corner. Obviously, the rush ends are Frankie Louvu and Brian Burns. Derek Brown is our rush D tackle, but our sub linebacker is Jeremy Chin and Jamie Robinson. It just is to help him progress faster than what a safety would. And then Jonathan Mingo in the slot. I really want to get him up to 99 overall by the end of this rebuild, but you never know what's going to happen. And then Miles Sanders, he's our guy for running the ball. We are in the Kansas City Chiefs playbook for offense because it's broken and it fits Bryce Young a little bit better than the Panthers playbook. And then also we have the Panthers defense for our defensive strategy. So we're going to sim to midseason to see how we're doing in our first year. But our biggest thing is drafting and rebuilding this team. So let's get into it. So at the midseason mark, it looks like we are 3-4. It looks like the division's kind of shaping up to be better than it's expected to be in real life. But let's look to see what we have in upgrades available. I know it says to auto upgrade, but sometimes it doesn't. It looks like Bryce Young and Jonathan Mingo are both playing really good to be getting these kind of upgrades. Oh, he jumps up too. Okay, so he's an actual 80 overall already. That's really good for the rest of this rebuild. He's our quarterback of the future, obviously. The Panthers didn't trade up to 1 to get rid of him after a year or 2. For him, we're gonna go slot. He's probably gonna be our main slot guy until he gets everything else up more. So he's looking like an 68 overall in the slot. We're just going to auto upgrade the rest of these guys. And then we're going to take a look at stats for the midseason point. So let's see. Baker Mayfield's at the top. I mean, that's to be expected. He's with the Bucks. 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He kind of needs to step it up here. 3.4 touchdowns for Miles Sanders. And receiving, Adam Thielen already has 500. Hayden Hurst with 490, and Laviska Shenault and Jonathan Mingo down here with almost 300. 6 touchdowns for Jonathan Mingo, though. That's a very good rookie season so far. I'm seeing a lot of sacks. Frankie Louvu with 8, Derek Brown with 5, Brian Burns only with 3. All good. He should get better. Jeremy Chin with 3 interceptions. He's doing really good where I put him. So let's sim to the end of the season. This season's more of like a just sim through it, see where we're doing, because the rebuild starts after this. So I'll meet you at the end of this sim. Okay, at the end of the season, it looks like we were able to sneak into the playoffs. So I'm going to assume Bryce Young decided to step it up a little bit. It's the Cowboys. They're very good in simulation, so I don't think we're going to win this one. But I will upgrade these rookies so we can see. Field general for Bryce Young. I feel like that's what he's best at. I know a lot of people try to go improviser with him, but I just see him more as a field general. I want him to command my team. So that's what we're going to go with. Jonathan Mingo, like I said, a double slot for him. I mean, if he can get a double upgrade, that'd be great. It'd be really good for the future of him. Doesn't look like he gets one, but he's a 70 overall in the slot, which much better than where he started. And Jamie Robinson, I'm going to go hybrid because he is playing a more linebacker role for this team, and I feel like that's going to be the future of him on this team. So we'll just auto upgrade the rest and look at stats before we go into the playoffs. I'm going to assume that we aren't that good. 44 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. He had 9 at the midseason mark, and so he threw 7 afterwards. That's really good. He stepped it up big time for us. Rushing, Miles Sanders hit the 1,000-yard mark with 6 touchdowns. And we had 3 receivers over 1,000 yards. Jonathan Mingo with 14 touchdowns in his rookie season. That is a big upgrade for him. So let's look at the defense. 3 interceptions stayed the same for Jeremy Chin, Dante Jackson, and J.C. Horn all got 3. Von Bell with 2, and Shaq Thompson with 1. Jamie didn't do as good as I wanted him to do in the slot. He got more tackles than anything else, but that's not really that big of a deal. 12 sacks for Frankie Louvu, 11 for Derek Brown, 10 for Brian Burns, 2.5 for Jeremy Chin. He had a really good season. Did we have any touchdowns? No, we didn't. But let's take a look at yearly awards, see if we won anything. Jalen Hurts won MVP. Let's see, let's go to the NFC. Cooper Kupp's won Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Aaron Donald. That seems about right. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Jonathan Mingo. So that is a surprise. Obviously, you have to go against the other rookies. So Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau are up there for Defensive Rookie of the Year. But I'll have to say, I don't think Bryce Young is going to get up to Superstar X Factor off the get-go. But let's sim to see if we can beat the Cowboys in this wild card game. And we do, 27-23. That's actually a really good. If we can beat them in simulation, that means we're good enough. So let's upgrade these 2 players, and then we're going to get into the game against the Saints and see if we can beat them. And it doesn't look like we can. 29-10 loss. That's okay. The rebuild starts now. But something that I need to do really quickly before anything else, we need to sim to the point where we can trade, because we need to be able to trade away our picks to the Bears, because I don't think that the game has those picks traded to the Bears yet. Nor will I think they will do that before next Madden comes out. They're always slow on that kind of thing because they want you to play the new Madden, so they're not going to update it for you, so they make it hard. So let me Let's take a look at the roster real quick, see if we got any upgrades. So it doesn't look like we got any upgrades for any of these guys, really. I'm actually really surprised Jonathan Mingo didn't get an upgrade. Let's see, his progression history. He decreased? So he won Offensive Rookie of the Year and then instantly decreased to star depth. That's that's BS. But we'll let the game say that happened, and we'll just keep him at star for now. Maybe it's, you know, his way of telling us that he didn't deserve to be star at the beginning. J.C. Horn went up to superstar. Derek Brown went up to superstar. Brian Burns went down to star, unless he already had star at the beginning, which I don't think he did. Jamie Robinson went down to normal, and Jeremy Chin went down to normal. After that good of a season? Okay, I'm going to undo some of these changes for people going down because it's a dumb game, because Jeremy Chin should have stayed star development. If anything, he should have gone up to superstar, but I'm going to take him back up to star because he does not deserve to be put down to normal development. Everything else can stay the same other than him going down. So, yeah, that's fine. But what do we need is the better question. I don't think there's really nothing in free agency. So we're just going to go to re-sign players and see what there's to re-sign. I should have done this at the mid-season point. I didn't think about it. I'll make sure I do that next season. But let's see. Let's go to players ready to negotiate.
These players.
So Eddie Pinheiro, and that's really it for this first season. Eddie Pinheiro is our kicker. I mean, it's not going to be anything crazy. Great, we got a deal done with our kicker. Now we have to give up picks to the Bears. So let's sim to the first of free agency. Can we trade yet? There we go. So we need to give them our pick for this season. It's not as good as what they got in real life, but we need to give them pick 25. And I can't tell if that's our pick. And we need to give them a 2024 first, 2025 second, so I'll do that. But I'll give them this second as well. And I give it to the Bears, and we're just going to take 2024 7th round for it. So there we go. We got our trade out of the way. And so there's really nothing in free agency. I know that because of the roster that is in. And if there are players in free agency that shouldn't be there, I'm not going to pick them up because it's not that realistic. So I'll meet you guys at the draft, and then we'll see who we're going to take. All right, and in the draft, I have some players I'm going to look for. They're not crazy good players from what it looks like. They're just, 3 to 4, day 3 projected that I kind of saw what they have. I mean, this guy's AAAB. He looks really good. This guy looks really solid. This guy is kind of but we'll see. So we're just going to sim to our picks, and we're going to pick the best available off of my board. I know there's not going to be that many good players on, but we're going to do our best to get some decent picks in this. And the center I wanted goes right before me, of course. But let's see. The last guy is Eric Davidson, wide receiver. I liked his acceleration and his speed. Other than that, he's kind of but we'll take him. He's got normal dev, so he's probably like maybe 60, 69 overall, 68, something low. But we're just going to sim to this next pick. We might try to trade it away to get a pick next year. I don't really see anything that we need.
Carolina Panthers now on the clock.
Actually, we're just going to sim to the end of the draft. Let the CPU do what they do. But we're going to be going into next season with basically the same roster. Not much is going to change. We're going to get one rookie. That's about it. So we're just going to sim through this. It's kind of difficult to rebuild teams that have no draft capital. And with the Panthers, they really don't, but they got a lot. They have basically all the pieces they need. It's just, will these players step up to fill their role? And so it's looking like we have a decent team. I mean, we're 80 overall across the board, it looks like. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the lineup, make sure that's all set in stone, and I will meet you once I'm done. Okay, so I'm actually going to stop and I'm going to show some things off. So I decided to put Tommy Tremble up one so that he can get some reps at tight end number 1, because getting him to superstar would be really solid for the team. I put Jonathan Mingo at the second receiver because apparently the guy we got is actually decent. He's 5'10", he's a slot guy. He's 93 speed, 94 excel. So his speed and acceleration were both really good, so that didn't lie. But we are going to sim to the midseason mark to see how the team is doing, and then we'll make changes based off of that. So at the midseason point, we're 5-2, which is really, really good for this. And we're going to see who we have to negotiate with, because I know it's a lot. Yep, it's basically our whole team. And there's a lot of guys in here that I want to keep. But let's see. Derek Brown, what does he want? He's just going to have to get a very player-friendly deal on this one, because he doesn't want to be here at all, and there's nothing I can do to change that. With Brian Burns, we're going to do a 5-year deal here. He wants to play for us next season, which is really good. Shaq Thompson, I'm going to chill on. LaVisca, I'm going to chill on. Frankie Louvu, what does he want? No players have tags. Sorry to say, man, but you're kind of the guy. He doesn't want to stay. Jeremy Chin is a big deal. I need him to stay. So we're going to do very player friendly for him and see if we can get him to do. Yes, we do. That's perfect. So we've gotten almost everyone we want. We're going to let all of these other guys stay till the end. I might put in a deal on Shaq. He's going to stay with the team on a 2-year deal. That's perfect. So there's really no one else I want. We're going to upgrade the players, and then we are going to sim to the end of the season to see what is up with the team. Okay, and it looks like we went 10-7 throughout the whole season, and we're back in the wild card against the Cowboys. So let's take a look to see what the stats are. It looks like Bryce Young had another good season. 4,700 yards, 40 touchdowns, and 21 interceptions. A little bit higher than it was last year, but we'll take it. 1,000 yards for Miles Sanders, 12 touchdowns. Receiving, Eric Davidson had a really good year, 11 touchdowns, 1,000 yards. Tommy Tremble had 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns. And Jonathan Mingo had almost 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. So this receiver by committee is doing a really good job. But we're going to see if we can beat the Cowboys in the playoffs. And it looks like we're able to do that one more time. Oh, no, we lost. Never mind. I lied. I'm brain dead. So let's sim over to the Super Bowl, or sim to the offseason so we can upgrade our players, see what dev traits we got. Sadly, we weren't able to make it past the Cowboys this time. But hopefully this upcoming season we can do really well. And it looks like the Bills won the Super Bowl against the Cowboys. So let's look at our roster and see what changed. It looks like Bryce Young stayed the same at Superstar Dev. It looks like Eric Davidson went up to Star. Jonathan Mingo stays the same. Adam Thielen went down to normal. Von Bell went up to Superstar. Derek Brown went down to star again, and Jeremy Chin stays the same, thank God. And Dante Jackson went down to normal. So there was a lot of changes. I see I have a lot of staff points available, so I'm going to go mess with that. And then we'll come back for free agency. There's no other players I'm re-signing. Free agency and the draft. All right, so in free agency,
viewer players, you have 3 evaluation periods with each.
So in free agency, there's a lot of players that we can go for. Let's see. Logan Wilson would probably be a good selection because we don't have Frankie Luvu anymore. Like I said, I didn't want to re-sign him in free agency. He was asking for too much. It was too difficult to hold on to him. We're not winning on him right now. Let's bump up the money a little bit. He's a very solid player, superstar dev. He's going to be there for a while on our team. There we go. We're winning on that. And just for shits and giggles, let's try to go get Nick Bosa. We're the only ones offering him on him. And let's also try to go get Trayvon Diggs. We could win a Super Bowl this year if we can get all these guys. Chidobe Awuzie, another guy that we might as well go in for. Let's see if we can win it. We got Nick Bosa. We got Nick Bosa and Logan Wilson. We did not. We're still in the fight for Trayvon Diggs. Let's up the money a little bit in 4 years. Let's see if we get put over the Falcons here. We are still over them, so we're just going to send that through and see if we get him. We did not get Trayvon Diggs. He goes to the Falcons, our rivals. We did not get Chidobe Awuzie. Let's see if there's any other corners we can get, because corner is kind of a place that we do need some players there. Some higher players. Because sadly, I just don't think the guys we have cut it very well. Doesn't look like there's any good signings in there for us. But let's manage our roster real quick before we go into the draft. See what we have, and then we'll see what we need. So it looks like Logan Wilson's going to be playing left outside linebacker, and Nick Bosa is going to be playing right end, which is very good. It's what should be happening. So let me change him to full-time left outside linebacker. And then we're going to be changing Nick Bosa to full-time right end if he's not already.
This player has a zone ability.
Yep, he's already right end. Nice. All right. So in the draft, I'm thinking we need corner. We need... And we don't really need safety. We need corner and D tackle. So let's go look in the draft to see if there's anyone corner or D tackle in the draft that we can get. We do have to remember we don't have a lot of picks. So if I am going to trade up for someone, I need to know they're going to be good. Don't really have that good of scouting on these guys. Alante Lowell looks pretty good. He's projected round 1, but he's looking really solid. So let's sim to the draft. I'm going to look through the people a little bit more because that's kind of boring, and then I'll meet you guys there. Alright, so I did a little bit more scouting to figure out who I should get, who we should have on our team. I did only defensive tackles and cornerbacks, so I wasn't sitting here forever, but these are the guys that I looked at and went through. If we do want to get one of these 2 top corners, we do need to trade up for them. They're going to be going in the first round, and by the looks of it, they're going to be going closer into the first. So I want to be able to do it without giving up my second round pick, because I do need a corner and a tackle, or a corner and a defensive tackle. So that's part of the issue. So I'm thinking about doing a 4th and giving up on a guy like Dante Jackson. He eats a lot of money, and for being star dev, he's not that good. I know they lost. That's not really a good pick for us. We're gonna see if the Dolphins want him. Oh, that puts him over the cap. Okay, that poses an issue. Cap does pose a big issue for some of these teams. So let's see. They have pick 15. This could be good. That's just not enough value. I mean, I knew that was going to be the case. Maybe I don't trade up for one of them. Maybe I just hope one of them falls to the second. Yeah, some of these guys aren't meant to go. So we're going to see if we can get a pick. If one of these guys.
Panthers now on the clock.
So let's take a look here, see who's left. So Devin Pratt and these guys. I'm gonna go with the taller guy for the corners. He's got hidden dev, which is really good. He's also wearing number 12, which I'm not a huge fan of. But we're gonna see who's here in the third round. If no one's here, then we're just gonna pick a random defensive tackle. We just need someone to fill the spot. Tevin Turner's here. We'll take him. He's only normal dev, which sucks, but we need depth at that position anyway, so we're gonna go through. We're actually gonna trade here. We're gonna see if we can get a defensive tackle through trading. We could trade next year's picks, because we don't need them, and we're just going to use the Rams idea of trading. Let's see, let's go through D tackles, see if there's a cheap D tackle I can get. 30-year-old, that actually might be possible to get him kind of low. Let's throw a third in there for him. They don't want that. I mean, he's almost a 90 overall. Even at 30, they're not going to give that up easy. So, Ed Oliver, no, they're not going to give that up. DJ Jones at 29, only 79 overall. That's actually a very possible get.
Ladies and gentlemen,
done deal. That's good. So, we got our guy. We got a guy that we need. Fill in some of the spots in our team. So, I'm going to go fix our roster, and then I'll show you what it looks like after I'm done. So taking a look at our roster before we go into our third season, it looks like we have Bryce Young, and then we have basically a completely new receiving core in Eric Davidson, Jonathan Mingo, and Terrence Marshall Jr. Our offensive line has pretty much stayed the same. Tommy Tremble is now going to be the starting tight end after last year. We have Brian Burns, Derek Brown, and Nick Bosa on the line, and also DJ Jones, who we traded for in the draft. And we also have a new lineup for corner. We have J.C. Horn and Marquise Bush and Dante Jackson. We have Von Bell and Xavier Woods, Shaq Thompson, Jeremy Chin, and Logan Wilson. We're going to see if this is what it takes to get us to the playoffs. So we're going to sim to the midseason mark and see how we're doing then. And at the midseason mark, we're 5-2. And we're going to upgrade our players. I might adjust the lineup just a tad bit to better ourselves for the upcoming games. I'm thinking about changing our defense a little bit to a 4-3 regular instead of a 4-3 under, and changing our scheme on offense a little bit. So we're going to do a base 4-3, and instead of multiple zone run, we're going to do the West Coast zone run, and we're going to keep who we have already for our playbooks. Those playbooks, in my opinion, are the best. Panthers defensive playbook gets a lot of sacks, especially for fast right ends and left ends. So we're going to sim to the end of the season and see where we stand. See you then. And at the end of the season, we're looking a lot better at 13-4. I don't think we lost a game. I think we only lost 2 games out of that stretch. So let's take a look to see how we did standings wise it looks like Bryce Young had 4,000 yards, 41 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. Miles Sanders has 1,000 rushing yards. Eric Davidson had 1,200 receiving yards, 17 touchdowns, which is crazy. 1,000 yards for Tommy Tremble and 7 touchdowns. And Jonathan Mingo had almost 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. So we're looking very good from that point of view. Let's look at our defense, see who carried. And it looks like Nick Bosa and Brian Burns both had a big amount of sacks. Nick Bosa with 18.5 and Brian Burns with 13. J.C. Horn had 8 interceptions. That has got to be leading the league. So let's look at that and see if it is. And it almost is. Matt Milano has 8 as well and 5 deflections, so he's right up there underneath him. So we're going to upgrade these players and sim against the Giants to see if we can beat them to make it to the divisional for the second time for Sir Bigums as a head coach. And it looks like we can. We beat them 23-17. So let's sim through the Rams and see if we can beat them and make it to the conference championship for the first time. And we can. We beat them 38-31. And we're going to sim through the Packers and see if we can win. And it looks like we lose 21-20, a narrow loss. But a very good season for us. No one expected us to be here, so we'll take that. And we'll see what kind of upgrades we get for our players and see where we can be next season. So this is what the team is looking like after our 3rd season. Tommy Tremble has gone up to Superstar Dev. Eric Davidson has also gone up to Superstar Dev. And on defense, J.C. Horn goes up to Superstar X Factor. Nick Bosa stays Superstar X Factor. Derek Brown goes up to Superstar. And Logan Wilson looks like he goes down to normal or star. But that's a very, very good season for us. We're going to get better through free agency and see who we need to re-sign. So let's take a look at that. So it looks like we have to re-sign Miles Sanders, J.C. Horn, Von Bell, Austin Corbett, Dante Jackson, Johnny Hecker, Bradley Bozeman. There's a lot of people here that we need to re-sign. So let's go through and see and hit the big guys first. Big deal is getting J.C. Horn to stay. We're going to go very player-friendly for him. And he will be back next season, which is a very big deal. Von Bell at age 30. 2-year neutral deal. See if he's here. He stays. Very good. Austin Corbett, we'll wait on him for a little bit. And DJ Jones doesn't want to be here. Tommy Tremble is a big deal. We need him to stay. He's going to stay. Miles Sanders, another big deal in free agency. He's going to stay as well. Austin Corbett, we do need to keep him around. He's a good fundamental piece of this offense. It looks like he's going to leave. We can re-sign him in free agency. Bradley Bozeman is another guy I really like. So we need to make sure we can keep him. He's going to be our center for the foreseeable future. DJ Jones at 30, only 78 overall. We can probably re-sign him in free agency. I know we just traded for him. Sucks that he's going to be leaving, but there's not much you can do about that. Terrace Marshall, we can re-sign him in free agency. Hayden Hurst, re-sign in free agency. A lot of these guys, they'll be cheaper in free agency because they won't have that many people going for them. So we're going to skip to free agency, and we're going to see who's there and who we need to pick up. So let's take a look. Ooh, we can get DeForest Buckner, who wants to be here. Let's get him on a 2-year deal, see if he wants to come. We are leading the charge for that. We could bring Hassan Reddick back, who was a big part of this team. Chidobe Awuzie would be another really good guy to get. So there we go. Chidobe Awuzie. We're not winning on him, but we can try. Amon-Ra St. Brown would be a very good addition to this team. So we're going to see if we can get him. We're leading on him. We do need... I think we need a punter. because Johnny Hecker left. So we're going to see if we can get Tommy Townsend as our punter. We're leading on Tommy Townsend. We do need a D tackle, which is why we're going for DeForest Buckner. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah could be a big addition. Elijah Mitchell, I'm thinking of players we could add to this team, but I'm not really seeing any guy who is standing out enough where it makes sense to go after him. We do need a right guard, or we go for a center and switch him to left guard, right guard. Austin Corbett at an 82 overall. We'll give him a very player-friendly deal just to get him to come. And let's evaluate our offers and see who stays. Austin Corbett decides to stay a Carolina Panther. We get all 4 or 5 of the guys that we wanted to go for. We could try to go for Aaron Jones. I feel like that's just kind of a waste of money though. Let's see here. We could go for... There's really no one else that I'm thinking we need. Yep, I think we got everyone we need. So we are going to sim to the draft. And let's take a look at what the team is looking like before the draft. Before the draft, this is what the team is looking like. We have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jonathan Mingo, and Eric Davidson as our wide receivers. Bryce Young is our quarterback. Miles Sanders is our running back. Our offensive line is really solid. Tommy Tremble finally got up to superstar and is an 80 overall. And then we have 3 superstar X factors on our defense, and everyone else is either star or better, except Jamie Robinson. But let's look here. We're going to have... This is looking like a very solid team. A very good team that can win a Super Bowl, to say the least. So there's really not much I need to do in free agency. I think in the draft, I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to trade for players that we need. Like, we need a better corner than what we have. So we can trade our 1st and 2nd round pick to try to get one of those corners. There's DJ Moore. It'd be kind of cool to bring him back to win a Super Bowl. But there's players like Jalen Johnson. We could do Caleb Farley. Let's see if we can get Jalen Johnson from the Bears. And we are able to. So now we have a very solid defensive core. That's really all I need from this. I think this is our season to win a Super Bowl. We're stacking up our team. Our team is really looking solid. If it goes anywhere past this year, I don't know if we're going to be contenders, because I think a lot of the players are going to be leaving, and we do need to pay Bryce Young, and I've paid a lot of players. So this kind of is a, do or die moment for us right now. But you saw what the team looks like. We added Jalen Johnson. So we're going to sim to the midseason mark and see where we're at. At the midseason point, we are 6-0, which is astounding, and we have a lot of things we can do. But I'm going to upgrade our players. We're going to sim to the end of the season and see if we can keep our streak alive of winning games. Like I said before, this is a do or die year, and this could be our year. So let's see if we can make it to the playoffs. And it looks like we were able to go 17-0 through the games. And I just want to show you guys that I didn't force any of these games, because it's crazy to me that we went 17-0. But I know this team is really good. So let's take a look at our regular season. Forced win, none for all of them. Other than our bye week, which it forces a win for home, which doesn't matter. But we won all of these by a little bit of a landslide. So let's see if we can make it all the way to the Super Bowl this season. I'm feeling very confident in this team. Let's upgrade our players and see if we can finally win a Super Bowl for this rebuild to be over. It looks like we are facing the Cowboys in the divisional game. So let's see if we can beat them. And it looks like we do. 38-21. We're going against the Rams. This is kind of almost exactly like what it was last year. But let's see if we can finally beat them. And we lose 37-21 against the Rams. So it wasn't our season after all. So let's sim to the off season and see what we can do. After a devastating loss, let's see what the team is looking like after that season. It's looking pretty much the same on the offensive side. No one really went up anything, just overall ups. And it looks like DeForest Buckner went down to superstar. Shaq Thompson went down to normal, but everyone else pretty much stayed the same. So let's take a look and see how we can get better this offseason. It'll probably be another season of not drafting, and we just have to re-sign some players, and let's try to win a Super Bowl this year. So it looks like we have to sign Akeem Ekwonu, Taylor Moton, Jonathan Mingo, Shaq, Jeremy Robinson, Chandler Zavala, Shee Smith, Brandon Smith, a lot of these guys down near the end of the board. I'm not going to re-sign, but big re-sign here for Akeem Ekwonu. We're going to give him player friendly so we know we get him. Taylor Moton is another one of those guys that we really need. He wants to play for a new team. We'll see if we can get a guy in free agency. He's not good enough to franchise tag right now. And I think Jonathan Mingo, I think we might be able to get him into free agency a little bit cheaper, but we're going to re-sign him right now. So let's go to free agency and see who we can re-sign, because I think next year is the year we have to sign Bryce Young, and if we can win a Super Bowl before that, I think that would be very beneficial. So it says we need a left guard, right tackle, and free safety. I agree with that, but I also think we could use a corner and wide receivers. So it says we need a left tackle. Let's go for the best left tackle in this free agency class. And do we have a lead on him? We do. DJ Moore is also here, who can replace Jonathan Mingo. Let's see if we can bring him back and see if he wants to be here. Doesn't look like he wants to be here yet again. Shaq Mason. And I don't know. I'm looking at this and I don't see anyone else that we kind of need. Christian Gonzalez is in here. I mean, that would be good for long term, but we're not really looking for long term. We're looking for short term. So we need free safety. Let's look in here. There's really not many people in here that look good enough to play that role for us, but we'll go with him. Julian Love, Ryan Neal for that. Not really any of those guys make me want to have them. We don't get DJ Moore. We also are in the battle for Colton Miller, so let's give him a very player-friendly or player-friendly deal. We went down. Oof. This is not looking good for us right now. Let's submit that. We get Colton Miller. We got Colton Miller and Andre Cisco. We filled two holes that we needed to fill. And so I'm going to adjust our lineup a little bit. And I'll see you guys at the start of next season. Or actually, the draft. I lied. I'll see you at the draft. I think I'm going to do the same thing again, where I trade for a player instead of doing what I need to do to get a player. And we need a left guard this time, so I think I'm going to throw a third in there and go try to find a really good left guard for us, like Andrew Voorhees. Let's see if we can get him. And we do. The Bears love trading with us. So let's also see if we can find a very good free safety, maybe for a second. I'm going to try to find someone that's like a 90 overall, like an Antoine Winfield. For a second, seems a little steep. They're not going to go for that. Let's give them a first as well, but they want to do that. It's very close. Let's see if we can get a fourth for him, and they don't want to go with that. That makes sense. He's probably one of their best players right now, but let's see what we can do somewhere else. It's looking like there's not a lot of good safeties Javon Holland would probably be the best choice to go for. If we give a first and second for that, we get the deal done. So we do get a free safety. Our team is looking rather good right now. So we're going to sim through the draft. I'll show you the team before we go to our next season. And let's see if we can win a Super Bowl. So this is what our team is looking like going into hopefully our final season. We got Eric Davidson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jonathan Mingo, Bryce Young, Ikem Ekwonu, Chami Tremble, and big pieces on our offense. We have some solid pieces on our defense. One of the things I realized when I got in here is that Shaq Thompson decided to retire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trade our 2027 picks for hopefully a really good right outside linebacker to fill his footsteps, so to lead us to the promised land, which is the Super Bowl. So it's going to be a first rounder, probably for someone that's really good. We're going to see what we can find. Hopefully there's some like an 80 to 90 overall player in here. Ooh, what if we tried to pair up the Bosa brothers? They don't want to do that. I mean, that's understandable. But let's see if we can kind of force it on them. They still don't want to do it. So it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get the Bosa brothers together, which sucks. But it is what it is. We're going to go through here. Jalen Phillips. See if we can get him. They don't want to give up that. Let's see if at first and second we'll do it. They still don't want to. First, second, and a third next year to get us Phillips. They don't want to do that either. What if it was a first this year and next year? Would you want to do that? First, second. Wait, if I'm going to do that, I might as well do that for Joey Bosa, which they don't want to do that either. I'm going to get Joey Bosa. I'm going to do my best to get Joey Bosa. So I'm going to give a first, second, third for a higher pick in the first. So like this pick. That's good. We're going to give a 32, a fourth, and a fifth for this. Hopefully that helps us get up there. You don't want that. A third, because we're not going to use the third in this trade. Ooh, do I need to give up a second to get all the way up there? It looks like I'm going to have to give up a second to get all the way up there. This third isn't really necessary, but we're going to give it to them anyway. I have to go back because this game is dumb and won't let you do some of these things all at the same time. So we have a 13th pick now. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to throw in first, second, and third next year. Try to get a first this year. The 12th looks good for me. Bears don't want to do that. They have Davis Mills as a quarterback. That's kind of sad. Pick 18 is probably a good pick. Oh, we're trading for the Chargers pick. Okay. So then we'll do a manual trade, and we'll give them two firsts for this year for Joey Bosa. And it goes through. Nice. So we get Joey Bosa as our right outside linebacker. The Bosa brothers are reconnected. And so we're going to sim to the playoffs because we know at the midseason mark we're most likely going to be undefeated or something because our team only got better. So let's see where we are at that point, and then we'll see if we can finally make it to a Super Bowl. So simming all the way through the season, we go 11-6. We do have to play the wild card, which sucks, but it's better than losing. So see if we can beat the Packers. It looks like we're able to beat the Packers 10-6, which is a super low score, but I'll take it. I kind of want to know what the stats were for that game, but I've also been recording for over an hour, so let's move on and see if we can beat the Cardinals. And it looks like we're able to beat the Cardinals with a more football-looking score, 31-23. Let's see if we can make the Super Bowl for the first time, and I'll hop in and play it. First, we got to go through the New York Giants. So let's sim here and see if we can beat them. Sim to Super Bowl. It looks like we were able to beat them by a score of, it doesn't show me anymore, but we were able to beat them. So let's hop in and see if we can finally win this Super Bowl. And see. The Pittsburgh Steelers go up first, 7-0. The Panthers answer 7-7. They go up 14-7. Panthers go up 21-7. Panthers go up 24-7. Steelers answer 14. It looks like it's getting out of hand. So let's jump in and see if we can mess around a little bit with this Carolina Panther team before they win the Super Bowl.
Second down, back to
and it looks like Miles Sanders is going to be tripping on his own players.
Third down. His carries tonight, they're getting up there, so maybe one of those every now and then is understandable.
I would agree with that. Understandable every
Looks like
now
we're going
and
into
then.
2-minute warning.
I
I want to throw the ball. Probably not the smartest decision in this situation, but it's Madden. I can do what I want.
Now here's Young.
Oh, snap. That was not smart. They had everything bottled up. Let's just sim and get out of here. There's a reason I do rebuilds and not play the game like that. It looks like they're able to answer, but the Panthers will win the Super Bowl, and Sir Bigums, the coach of the Carolina Panthers, is going to win. So